Ladies and gentlemen, listen up. There are two types of people in this world: those who let life happen to them and those who make life happen. If you're here today, I know which kind you want to be. But desire alone won't get you there. Discipline will. And today, I'm giving you 10 things. Yes, 10. You must work on every single day if you want to live in the overflow. Let's dive in. Your mindset is the foundation of everything you will ever achieve or fail to achieve in life. Every decision you make, every reaction you have, every goal you set, and every action you take begins in your mind. That's why working on your mindset daily is not a luxury. It's a necessity. You must treat your mind like fertile soil, because whatever you plant in it consistently will grow. If you sow seeds of fear, doubt, and negativity, don't be surprised when your life starts bearing fruit that's bitter, small, and full of anxiety. But if you plant seeds of faith, clarity, discipline, and boldness, you will eventually harvest a life that reflects abundance and purpose. Your mind is like a thermostat. It sets the temperature for the rest of your life. If your mindset is set too low, even when life gives you opportunities or blessings, you'll sabotage them because your inner setting is too limited to maintain them. That's why people can win the lottery and lose it all in a year. Their bank account changed, but their mindset didn't. You've got to adjust your inner thermostat so you can handle the heat of success, pressure, and elevation. That's not something you do once. That's something you do every day, over and over, until it becomes your default setting. Mindset isn't just about thinking positively. It's about thinking powerfully. There's a difference. Positive thinking can help you feel better temporarily, but powerful thinking helps you make better decisions permanently. Powerful thinking isn't ignoring problems. It's confronting them with a sense of dominion instead of defeat. It's believing that what's in front of you may be hard, but it's not harder than what's inside you. And that kind of thinking only comes from deliberate daily focus, not wishful thinking or motivational hype. Every day, you are being bombarded by voices trying to program your mind: media, social media, people's opinions, past experiences, cultural noise. As it helps, if you don't deliberately take charge of what goes into your mind, you'll unconsciously allow junk to take root. That's why it's critical to start your day with intentional input. Read something that challenges you to think bigger. Listen to teachings that stretch your faith. Meditate on truths that anchor your identity, because the world will try to shrink you every day, and it's your job to resist that compression with expansion. One of the most powerful things you can do to elevate your mindset is to audit your beliefs. Every day, question what you believe about success, money, relationships, failure, and yourself. Ask yourself, is this belief serving me or sabotaging me? Most people don't get stuck in life because of a lack of opportunity. They get stuck because of a belief system that keeps recycling old limitations. They believe things like, I'm not good enough. That's not for people like me. I always mess up. Or, this is just who I am. And as long as you let those run unchallenged, they will become self-fulfilling prophecies. Renewing your mind is not a casual practice. It's a daily discipline. It's waking up and choosing to think differently even when nothing around you has changed yet. It's deciding to live from vision, not from memory. It's refusing to let yesterday's failure become today's identity. And it's rejecting the idea that your future has to look like your past. When you start thinking differently, you start living differently. And when you live differently, you attract different results. Words are not just sounds or symbols. They are creative forces. Every time you speak, you're either building or breaking something. Words have power to shape your reality, influence your emotions, direct your focus, and even attract or repel opportunities. What comes out of your mouth daily is a reflection of what's going on in your heart and mind, and more importantly, it's a preview of the life you're creating. People underestimate the impact of language. They say things like, it's just a figure of speech. But there's no such thing as just words. What you consistently say, you eventually believe helps us. And what you believe, you act on. That's why working on your words every single day is not optional. It's strategic as it helps us. You can trace the quality of someone's life back to the quality of their language. People who complain, criticize, and condemn constantly are not creating lives of excellence. They're reinforcing cycles of frustration and limitation. On the other hand, people who declare, affirm, encourage, and express gratitude tend to walk in clarity, joy, and influence. That's not just a coincidence. Your words set the tone for your atmosphere. If you speak chaos, you'll live in chaos. If you speak peace, you'll operate in peace. Your words are the thermostat of your environment, and they create alignment between what you expect and what you experience. Every single day, you need to become more aware of your default speech. What's your automatic response when things go wrong? Do you curse the moment or declare control over it? When someone disagrees with you, do you speak out of defense or out of wisdom? When you look in the mirror, do you speak life or condemnation? The words you speak to yourself are the most powerful words you'll ever hear because you hear them the most. And over time, as they carve grooves into your identity, making it harder or easier to rise, depending on what you're saying, your words also create agreement. When you speak something, you're not just saying it, you're signing off on it. That's why it's dangerous to speak things like, I'm so broke, I can never get ahead, or I'm always late. You're not describing your situation. You're signing a contract with limitation, and life will honor that agreement. On the other hand, when you say, I am increasing daily, I operate in excellence, or I'm attracting divine opportunities, you are aligning your words with possibility and opening the door for better outcomes. What you speak about others is just as important. If you're always tearing people down, gossiping or criticizing, you're actually sowing seeds that come back into your own life. Words are seeds, and they don't just affect the person you speak them about, they affect the soil of your own heart. Speak well of others. Bless people even when it feels undeserved. Use your words to build bridges, not burn them. Because your words determine your relationships, and your relationships shape your future. You need to train your tongue to submit to your vision. Most people let their tongue express their feelings instead of their future. But if you want to create something greater, you have to speak beyond how you feel. Feelings change, but your future is worth protecting as it helps us. That's why discipline with words is a must. Monitor your language the way a bank watches its vault. Guard it, track it, and refine it daily. If you catch yourself speaking lack, stop mid-sentence and correct it. If you find yourself complaining, replace it with gratitude. Make it a habit to say only what you want to see multiplied. Words also set your intention for the day. Start your mornings with declarations that match your purpose. Say things that pull your potential to the surface. Remind yourself of who you are and what you're here to do. Speak to your day before your day speaks to you, because the first voice you hear in the morning should be one that lifts, not limits. Your words create momentum, and when used with intention, they can pull you out of procrastination, distraction and discouragement. Vision is the compass that directs your decisions, behaviors, and habits. Without a clear vision, your life becomes reactive instead of proactive, random instead of intentional. You start chasing distractions, not destiny. Every day that passes without clarity of vision is a day that pulls you further away from the life you're supposed to live, as it helps us. Vision is not just about setting goals. It's about defining your direction. It's about seeing what others don't see yet, believing in what doesn't exist yet, and taking steps toward what only exists in your imagination. But even the most powerful vision loses impact if you're not working on it daily. A vision that isn't reviewed, refined, and reinforced becomes vague, and vagueness breeds inaction. When you wake up each morning, you should already know what you're working toward. That's not just about being productive. It's about being aligned as it helps us. You must see yourself not as you are, but as you are becoming. If you can't see the next version of yourself clearly, you'll default to the current version, even if it's limiting you. Vision has to pull you. It should create tension between who you are and who you're becoming. That tension is the birthplace of growth. Without it, you stay comfortable, and comfort never produced greatness. Vision forces you to stretch, to plan, to move, and to expect more from yourself than yesterday's version of you could deliver. Most people don't lack talent or opportunity, they lack clarity. And clarity is a result of focused vision. You can't afford to have a blurry picture of your future. You must define what success looks like for you spiritually, financially, relationally, physically, and professionally. That doesn't mean you need all the details, but it does mean you need a direction. A general desire isn't enough. Wanting a better life is vague. Wanting a six-figure business that serves high-level clients is vision. Vision speaks in specifics, not generalities. And once you define it, you must revisit it daily like a blueprint for a masterpiece. Builders don't start construction without checking the design. Neither should you. Working on your vision also means eliminating what doesn't align with it. Every day, you're making decisions about how you spend your time, your energy, and your focus. When you have vision, those decisions become simpler, not easier, but clearer. You can say no without guilt because you know what you're saying yes to. You can stop being busy and start being effective. A person with vision doesn't chase trends. They create movements. They're not thrown off course by every setback or criticism because they understand the bigger picture. They measure their progress against their purpose, not against other people. Writing your vision down is not a motivational exercise. It's a daily discipline. When you write it, you reinforce it. When you review it, you align with it. Keep it where you can see it. Speak it. Think about it. Protect it. Remind yourself daily of why you're building, who you're becoming, and what's at stake if you quit. A strong vision keeps you going when motivation runs dry. It becomes the internal driver that fuels external action. It helps us. People who build extraordinary lives aren't led by feelings, they're live vision. Feelings change with the weather. Vision cuts through the chaos and keeps you focused on the destination. Your vision should be big enough to scare you and clear enough to guide you. If it doesn't stretch you, it's too small. If it doesn't move you, it's too vague. And if you're not working on it daily, you're not honoring it. You can't afford to treat your vision like a one-time event or a once-a-year journal entry. It's a living document that evolves with you. Life will always offer you detours, distractions, and delays. But when your vision is locked in, you don't get confused about what to do next. You measure every opportunity, conversation, And commitment against the vision you've already decided is non-negotiable. Habits are the invisible architecture of your life. They are the quiet forces that shape your outcomes, not just once, but repeatedly over time, as it helps us. Most people look at results and try to change the results directly, but results don't change unless behavior changes. And behavior doesn't change unless habits do. Every day, you are becoming either more disciplined or more distracted, more focused or more scattered, more excellent or more average. That shift isn't sudden, it's subtle. It happens in the small, repeated choices you make when no one is watching. That's why your habits must be intentional, not accidental. If you don't consciously choose them, life will choose them for you, and chances are that they won't be the ones you need to build the future you desire. Habits are not just routines. They are commitments to who you're becoming. Every time you show up for your habits, you're casting a vote for the person you've decided to be. Whether it's waking up early, reading daily, managing your money, training your body, or developing your skills, those are not random tasks. They are rituals of identity. They remind your mind, your body, and your spirit that you are not average, you are aligned. You are not reacting, you are creating. Habits are how you build consistency, and consistency is what builds greatness. Talent might open a door, but habit determines how long you stay in the room. If you want to know someone's future, don't look at their dreams, look at their daily habits. Dreams are loud, but habits are quiet. Dreams inspire, but habits produce. The world is full of people with big dreams and small disciplines. It's not that they lack ambition, they lack alignment. They say they want success, but they have habits that guarantee stagnation. They say they want growth, but their actions suggest comfort is more valuable than progress. You don't get what you wish for, you get what you consistently work for. And that work shows up most in your habits, not your high energy moments. Every day is a new opportunity to either reinforce a powerful habit or reinforce a powerless excuse. The truth is, you're always practicing something. The question is whether you're practicing discipline or procrastination, purpose or avoidance, clarity or confusion. Whatever you practice, you become. That's why even your smallest habits matter. They compound over time. One day of skipping a task doesn't break you, but a pattern of skipping does. One day of half effort doesn't define you, but a rhythm of mediocrity does. And on the other side, one day of alignment may not produce instant results, but it builds the track record you need to trust yourself when the stakes get high. Habits also determine your confidence. You feel powerful when you keep your promises to yourself. You feel weak when you don't. Every habit is a promise you're either keeping or breaking. And when you consistently keep your habits, even when you don't feel like it, you're training your brain that your word can be trusted. That self-trust builds internal strength. It silences doubt. It drowns insecurity. It makes you more resilient when life tries to knock you off course, because you have receipts, daily evidence that you do hard things, even when it's inconvenient. Or working on your habits daily also requires you to be strategic, not just motivated. Motivation fluctuates. Strategy sustains. That's why you must design your environment for success. Don't just rely on willpower. Build systems. Remove distractions. Set reminders. Track progress. Reward consistency. Make it easier to win than to lose. And be honest about what's helping and what's hurting. Evaluate your habits with courage. Just because something feels comfortable doesn't mean it's serving your future. Growth is often uncomfortable, but the pain of discipline is always lighter than the weight of regret. Your value determines your income. your influence, and your impact. You don't get paid for your time. You get paid for the value you bring to the time. The marketplace doesn't reward effort, it rewards outcomes. It doesn't respond to intention, it responds to value. If you want to increase your income, the first place to start is increasing your value. Value is not determined by how much you work, but by how much transformation you produce. People pay for solutions, not sweat. They reward results, not routines. You can be busy and broke, or you can be valuable and well compensated. That choice is made in how you position and develop yourself. Working on your value every day means constantly developing your skills, your mindset, and your ability to solve problems. If you're not becoming better, you're becoming replaceable. You either become an asset or a liability, and that status is updated daily. Your value is never a one-time certification or accomplishment. It is a continual evolution of who you are, how you think, and what you can do. The world is moving fast. Industries change, trends shift, technologies evolve. If you stay stagnant, you fall behind. Staying current is survival. Increasing your value is how you lead. Value is also measured by how rare your abilities are and how deeply they solve real problems. If you can do what everyone else can do, you'll be competing on price. If you can do what few others can do, you get to compete on value. You move from being a commodity to being a necessity. You don't have to beg for opportunities. They find you because when your value is high, people seek you out. When your value is undeniable, you never have to convince anyone. You show up with results, and results speak louder than resumes. Daily value building also means refining how you communicate what you do. Being excellent is not enough if no one knows it or understands it. You have to be able to articulate your value clearly, confidently, and consistently. If you can't explain what you do and how it helps others, you're not just limiting your opportunities, you're lowering your impact. Learn how to frame your expertise as a solution. Learn how to speak the language of the people you serve. Learn how to position yourself as a trusted guide, not just another option. Because value that isn't expressed is value that gets ignored. You also increase your value by elevating the people around you. Leaders are multipliers. They don't just shine, they help others shine. If your presence raises the standard, sharpens the thinking, and increases the productivity of a room, your value multiplies. People remember those who make them better. Your ability to lift others, encourage growth, and create clarity is a form of value that often opens doors money can't. It positions you as someone indispensable, someone who brings solutions, not just skills, someone who increases results, not just effort. Another dimension of value is self-awareness. You can't increase what you haven't identified. Know your strengths, know your blind spots, know where you are average and where you are exceptional. Know the difference between what you're good at and what you're an expert in. And then double down on the things that set you apart. Stop spreading your energy thin trying to do everything. Focus on becoming world-class at the thing that has the most potential to change your life and serve others at the highest level. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. If you want higher paying clients, better partnerships, more influence, or bigger platforms, become the version of yourself that those opportunities are looking for. That means showing up daily with the mindset of growth, the commitment to excellence, and the discipline to get better whether or not you feel like it. Talent may open the door, but your value is what keeps it open, and what determines what happens once your inside impact is what remains when your efforts are no longer visible. It's the ripple effect of how you show up, serve, and contribute. Every day, whether you realize it or not, you are leaving a mark on people's lives, on environments, on conversations, and on moments. The question is not whether you're making an impact, but what kind of impact you're making. Working on your impact daily means becoming more intentional about how your presence influences outcomes. It means showing up not just to succeed, but to serve. Not just to gain, but to give. Not just to be seen, but to make something better than how you found it. People remember how you made them feel more than what you said or did. Your words may fade, your accomplishments may be forgotten, but the way you made someone feel will echo long after the moment has passed. That's why impact isn't about being impressive. It's about being transformative. It's about whether you added light in a dark place, clarity in a confused moment, strength in a weak one. It's about whether someone walked away from you thinking more clearly, believing more deeply, or acting more boldly. And that doesn't happen by accident. It happens through daily intention. Your impact grows when you stop thinking only about what you can get and start focusing on what you can give. Giving isn't just about money. It's about time, energy, attention, wisdom, presence, and encouragement. Every interaction is an opportunity to deposit value into someone else. When you walk into a room, are people uplifted or drained? When you speak, do you inspire courage or reinforce fear? When you lead, do you empower others or make them dependent on you? These are the questions that shape the depth of your impact. Working on your impact daily means getting clear about your mission. Why do you do what you do? Who are you doing it for? What kind of legacy are you building as it helps us? Legacy is not something you leave behind when you're gone. It's something you build while you're here. It's in the way you lead your family, treat your team, develop others, and contribute to something bigger than yourself. When you have a mission that is bigger than your own comfort or convenience, your impact multiplies. Because you're not just moving for personal gain, you're moving for generational change. True impact is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. People aren't inspired by flawless individuals. They're inspired by those who keep showing up, keep growing, keep serving, even when it's hard. Consistency is where impact takes root, not in the big moments that go viral, but in the small moments that no one sees. The daily phone calls, the honest feedback, the act of showing up with excellence even when it's not convenient. These are the things that compound into impact over time. The more you commit to doing the right thing over time, the more powerful your influence becomes. Your impact is also tied to your authenticity. You can't truly influence others if you're wearing a mask. People are drawn to what's real, not what's polished. When you operate in authenticity, you give others permission to do the same. You create space for honesty, vulnerability, and growth. And that space is where lives begin to change. The more you operate from your true self, your values, your gifts, your convictions, the more potent your impact becomes. Because you're not performing, you're connecting, you're not impressing, you're influencing. To work on your impact daily also means developing the courage to challenge, correct, and confront when necessary. Impact isn't always about making people feel good. It's about helping them grow. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is tell the truth. Sometimes the most impactful action is a difficult conversation. But when your motives are rooted in love and growth, even correction can become a gift. The goal is never just comfort. It's transformation. And transformation always begins with someone willing to take responsibility for the influence they carry